Hey, it's summertime and wait, fuck it. It's technically still summertime, so let's get on with it.
大丈夫?
私お知りたい
Fucking normies. Yeah, this show would not get daddy hard. In his own words.
They're girls! If they're not doing gay things at each other, then what are they good for?
Fight! Misha!
Man, I wish my family was supportive of me. You know what? I was starting to miss Magic High School light novel adaptations. Yeah, for you young'uns out there listening, but before light novels became 100% isekai, one of the biggest trends used to be anime Hogwarts. Essentially anime Harry Potter with a lot more titty, and a lot less incestuous fanfiction. Yeah, and the funny thing about these stories was that despite the protagonist always being an absolute Christ figure, he would always fall victim to a flawed ranking system that deems him as being weak. And yeah, when I actually compare him to the actual Christ, I mean it. Dude died for his people's sins and now it's his second coming, so move aside, Mahoka. We got a new god in our midst. Also, this dude kills people with his fucking heartbeat. That's like saying a guy has the ability to kill someone from his breath alone. Man, I wish my parents loved me like that. Daddy Demo left to buy cigarettes 3 years ago and hasn't come back since. I mean, he returned to get his wallet last March, but he forgot to buy milk on the way back, so he left again after kissing mom goodbye with his fist.
Look at the top of his head! Look at his lips!
Wait, did I read that right? Is that really Jean-Ken Johnny credited alongside Hiroyuki Sawano? I am going to nut right now. Wow, this ED really is Ratchet and Clank going commando. Another series I didn't watch the first season of, but does anyone really give a shit? Feels very much like Ghost Stories with a modernized production, as in nothing all that interesting, just some dumb kids messing with some ghost shit, don't follow the ghost rules and end up paying the ghost price, which is basically this girl ending up in debt before she even applies for college loans. Now that's the real spooks right here.
You know what I hear? I hear the sound of you shutting the fuck up.
Oh, Muramata-san, based on the doujin by Ikumox, the artist whose doujins awakened the fetishes I didn't know I had. This OVA, being an adaptation of a good doujin, makes for some good plot, but no one likes the studio. For those not in the know, Queen Bee is a studio that adapts doujins by recreating the art from said doujin, then animating them. The problem though is that this method of animation is limiting, which makes for very stiff and robotic movement. The art is still good and the voice work was but many viewers are dissatisfied with this animation. I think this review on Mal sums up everyone's thoughts on Queen Bee and this hentai. Fuck Queen Bee. All my homies hate Queen Bee. Seriously though, what is wrong with their animation department? Voice acting is top tier, but it looks like it's animated by 2 kids for their high school art project. This is a shame considering the doujin 286444 is still pretty good. I saw this and thought there was hope for 2020, but there is no hope. Only despair. And as long as this clown of a studio exists, my life will only be filled with disappointment and blue balls. Queen Bee? More like Queen
Be gone!
The OVA is a 2 out of 10, but the doujin is 286444410. Go read it.
What's Gibby thinking about?
Oh, gotta love the drinks, drugs, and rock and roll. Oh wait, excuse me, drinks, drugs, and rock and roll. Like, hey, what's your favorite doujin rock band? Oh, mine is Massive the Fermenting Brags. Oh, there it is. I mean, the soundtrack's alright. I really like the shamisen right now, but what the fuck is wrong with the CG? It looks like The Rock and The Mummy 2, yet somehow worse. Yeah, I know Empreg can be a big turnoff for most.
On the left, there are people who believe a man can get pregnant.
But honestly, I've watched enough Nickelodeon shows to be desensitized to all of this.
Captain Man's having an alien baby.
Because there's a brand new Henry Danger! The alien pregnant.
I said this before, but I didn't like the manga of this one. I mean, comedy manga tends to get better when animated, but honestly this ain't much of an improvement. I find it comparable to Yumaru-chan. They're both lowbrow slice-of-life comedies with an overly obnoxious and short female lead that I'd love to put in a tombstone. I mean, the series can still ring a chuckle from me every now and then. Very much how you can wring man milk from my little man-like cock, but this brief 5 seconds of enjoyment pales to the painful 20 minutes of build-up.
なんか危なくないやつで。マジか？おお！勝てる！ You dirty bitch!
So 1 minute into the first episode and the protagonist's already a cuck. 2 minutes in and now he's a simp. Honestly, couldn't get through this entire episode. It has the reverse problem of Izaki-chan's adaptation where it got worse transitioning to animation. I mean, I got through the first few chapters of the manga before losing interest, but now that this protagonist has been given an actual voice, he suddenly becomes much more annoying. Also, the manga did a better job sympathizing with the protagonist by revealing his desire to please his grandma earlier in the story, and illustrating his insecurities without showcasing his NTR fetish. Oh no. It's the Red Cross!
Oh shit. Here we go again.
So 4 minutes in and the protagonist already has a Sharingan. Okay, I know I bashed webcomics in my last video, but honestly the dynamic art style really translates well into animation. Soundtrack is also pretty lit. Love the energy in that EDM and hip hop. Okay, so when they said this was an all forms martial arts tournament, they really meant it. I mean, we got karate, judo, pro wrestling,
Watch out, watch out, watch out!
fucking kendo. This dude just got a baseball bat. What kind of discipline is that? Baseball Furies? Also, we got people in gis, hoodies, headphones, glasses, boxing gloves, and miniskirts. Not to mention, how are you supposed to win a battle royale on submissions alone? That is just not fair. In a world where humanity is on the brink of extinction, the surviving humans name their last hope Decadence. Way to go, humanity. That name's bound to boost morale. In the show, join Natsumi on her shonen-esque journey against the odds to become a gear like her KIA dad. Watch as she suffers through the hardships of the post-apocalypse, like high school bullying, workplace harassment, and her own incompetence. This ain't bad so far. Action's pretty tight, and aside from the CG, the animation is well done. I also really like the stylized typography, though I don't think the overall visual style supports this font. The gears drive these Mad Max Rocket League cars, which can be a turnoff for some design-wise, but I think it works well enough, and what the fuck? Okay, well I guess that explains the font then. So episode 2 takes a complete 180 on what was established in episode 1 by revealing that Decadence is a video game, with the gears being the players while the tankers are NPCs. And this complete change in story is daunting to say the least. To find out that this already established world is a video game is completely immersion breaking, and it removes all stakes, with the newest stakes they try to implement not feeling as dire. And these things playing the games are, I honestly don't know. They seem to be part of some digital system like in Reboot, with them playing Decadence as some sort of necessity, but they don't explain why. Well, looks like Ninja Collection got a few thousand members added on Mal to their literal 0 a few weeks ago. But why though? Oh yes, the inferior Monster Musume. Okay, it's not that bad. It certainly isn't as eventful as the other Monster Musume, but it certainly has its own appeal. Despite the medieval fantasy setting, no Oisha-san is a lot more Nichijou compared to Noiru Nichijou. The art is definitely an upgrade from the manga, and while the artwork in the manga isn't bad, it doesn't work as well as an ecchi, for me at least. And the anime's cleaner art style complements the Monster Girl designs much better.
Hello, ladies.
So speaking of Monster Girl animes, this is essentially that manga Anato no Dana wa Aki Shitemasu yo, the Monster Girl series where the princess is trying to beat all the thoughts that her husband cheated on her with, except in the husband's perspective. At least the series has the decency to keep it 12 minutes an episode.
Hello,
my dudes.
Yeah, this is basically if K-pop was an anime. As in, all these dudes look the same to me. I'm disappointed in you, Mappa. I hate to see the talent from the studio wasted in such an uneventful show that's an adaptation of an Otome game of all things. And I thought Rental Girlfriend was pushing the limits on what you can put on TV this season, but HX Zeros comes along and finger blasts them to oblivion. I mean, these are grade schoolers, damn it, you gotta chill! There's also some sparkle titty too, I guess. I mean, alright. I actually am enjoying this series. I mean, nothing amazing, but I like the Kamen Rider Super Sentai parody they got going. Everything from the script to the typography to the soundtrack is very reminiscent to the aforementioned shows, which make for a fun watch. So if this seems like your kind of thing, then give it a watch this season. Okay, I haven't seen any of SAO after the Death Gun arc, so I don't know what the actual fuck is going on. I mean, they're obviously still in a video game, but if they die in the game, do they still die in real life? We still doing that? What about Laughing Coffin? Are they still around? How they been doing? Whoa, well, Kirito ain't doing so well. I guess Teenage Parenthood does that to a man. Nice to see that SAO still has the same spice as the previous seasons, while at the same time being completely fresh by having a woman committing the tentacle abuse. Now that's what I call progressive. Japan stinks more like Japan stinks, am I right, guys? Nah, this is actually pretty good. It's kinda like Saint Saro's other Netflix production, Devilman Crybaby, as in, they're both tragedies with a similar method to their presentation. The show hits hard from the get-go with an engaging cast of characters that you love/hate to see get killed off. Art styles are also comparable with rough, expressive art to go with smooth animation. Not to mention that this series and Crybaby both feature rap battles and bad English. I love it. And speaking on Netflix anime, I fucked up this video schedule to the point that I'm releasing this video 10 days after The Great Pretender's global release. This series is also pretty good. It looks and sounds great, and the characters are all witty and entertaining to watch. The plot and plot twists are all pretty stupid, but I had a fun time watching it, and that's what mostly matters. Finally, I'm done with this fucking shit. Damn. I didn't have anything planned for this, but subscribe to my OnlyFans.